Let's try it again. So I remember I was out on the street after I had left, what's the name, Dr. Evil, and this guy, he says, "Hey, I got somewhere for you to sleep tonight." And I was like, "Cool." I'm 25 and I'm very naive. Like, some of this stuff was ridiculous what I actually dealt with. But anyway. So he says, "Yeah, meet me right here at this time and I got somewhere for you to sleep." This dude takes me to some government brick building over in the corner outside, and he has a sleeping bag laid out, y'all. A sleeping bag. And he looking at me like, "Here you go, baby." I remember thinking in my head, hell no, right? And we end up, and so I'm sitting there and I'm fuming, I'm mad. Like, this dude got me over here outside downtown and outside some brick building, some business. I don't know what's happening. So next thing you know, here come the police, telling us we got to move, right? Of course. So we get up and he's like, "Here, I know where we can go." After walking, I think we were by near the jail downtown, somewhere like that. So there's the street you can walk down, and you're downtown. You go under some bridge, and then you turn left. And we go down this street, and it felt like the longest walk I ever had in my life. It's like probably 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're in like this caravan of homeless people walking, and I have no idea where I'm going right now. But dude's like, "Come on." So we finally arrive at what is the mission. The kind of a homeless shelter for men. But this was also the spot where people could sleep outside. So after hours, I walk up and it's this place, this street, and there's sleeping bags and people sleeping in them all up and down the street in front of this shelter place. And dude's like, "Here we are." That's how I was like, "And then what?" And he goes, "Oh, we can go to Loaves and Fishes in the morning. We can go to the block in the morning." I don't even remember what happened that night. I think I ended up crawling under a sleeping bag and finally going to sleep. So we get up the next day, and the caravan of homeless people, because everybody had to leave. I guess this was a known thing. Everybody gets up, puts their sleeping bags together and stuff, and walk back down the street. So now it's daytime, and we go down to Loaves and Fishes, which is the homeless spot in Sacramento. If you know, you know. And at this time it was, so this was probably 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. Let me think. I've been clean 7. I've been home 7 years. I was out there for about 9. So, yeah, probably about 15 years ago. But anyway, so Loaves and Fishes. So it's basically the day homeless spot. And then you go down the streets over there, Ahern. We ended up calling it the block, right? Tents, sleeping bags, all up and down. Like, I had never seen anything like this in my life. Never. It was about a 4 or 5 block radius, with nothing but just homeless, and that's just where they stayed. And then there was the day center where you go, and I guess you can get coffee in the morning and donuts, and they close about, I think it was like 2 o'clock. I think they serve lunch too. So that's where I'm at for a little while before I got introduced to the actual river. Loaves and Fishes, Jesus. So I remember running around. So this was like the era when it was going from, I don't know what all I can say on here, but it was going from crack to crystal. I'll just say it, okay? So it was a lot of the old OGs with the crack era, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, the meth was coming, and that was becoming more popular out there, I guess. So anyway, one night, I'm wandering around. I don't know where to go. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm hungry. I'm young, and you know I don't want to go around nobody because he's like, "Hey, girl," you know what I'm saying. And I was like, "No, girl." So I remember walking down one of the little strips that had people just sitting in tents, and there was one guy named Tattoo. Rest in peace, for real. Um, he was old school pimp, old school crackhead, all the things, but he ran that block pretty much back in the day. It brings a smile on my face because he really was very sweet. All his things that he had, he was very sweet. So I walked by his tent. He had tried to talk to me a couple times, and I'm like, dude, I already know what you trying to do. And he was like, no, baby girl, I ain't doing all that. I was like, I'm tired. And he said, well, crawl in here, go to sleep. And I'm looking at him like, no, I already told you I'm not going there. And he was like, no, for real, if you just want to crawl in here and go to sleep, I'll hide you. So dude's like 300 pounds, for real. He's in this 2-man tent. And it was like, I'm still absorbing, what I'm looking at. So, I mean, he got the food in there. People stopping by the tent to come kick it, to come talk. His girls is coming by, you know what I mean? But basically, he's turned over on his side because he big. And he said, come crawl right here. So right in the front of the tent where the door is at, I was pretty much in that corner right there. I'm a little thing, right? So and I lay down. And I'm almost like under his belly, you know what I'm saying? And within the blankets and all the stuff he has in there, I'm tucked in there, and I was able to sleep. I probably slept for almost a whole day. When I woke up, I could hear him arguing with his girls. I can hear people walking by. We got the schizophrenics. Doing their thing. You hear people walking past Loaves and Fishes. It was my introduction to the block, y'all. I woke up. He said, you want a donut or something? Because he had the little runners bringing him stuff from Loaves and Fishes. He wasn't inside the gate where the place was, but he was outside. And, he was OG, so people bring him stuff. You hungry, girl? You need a donut? You need a cigarette? That's my OG voice. Sorry, y'all. So anyway. And he helped me out, and so from then on, like here and there, he'd see me. He'd try every once in a while. Hey, girl, I'm over here. I'm like, I know you over there, but that's okay, boo. So that was Tattoo. Rest in peace. He really did help me out there. Crazy as hell, but yeah, that was my introduction to the block. Ahern. Shout out to Loaves and Fishes, I guess.